Today we were with Ryan Honcho. I think he asked a lot of great questions and we collected so much important topics where people can actually apply to their life, learn, and actually live more of a fulfilling life. So Ryan, great job.
Welcome to this episode of the Ryan HUNCHO Show. Today we have an extremely powerful guest who will keep you motivated the very moment he steps in the room. I'm sitting down with the owner and CEO of Canada Prime Marketing, ranked one of the fastest growing companies in Canada for 3 years in a row. He is also a renowned speaker and known for giving back. His rise to success was not an easy one, as you'll learn later in the interview, where he lost over 2.7 million in just one day. He still kept moving forward. In this interview, we'll be discussing how he achieved all of this, coming from Pakistan to Canada at the age of 14, to starting his business at the age of 23, and is now a multi-million-dollar company. It was a lot of fun doing this interview with Fahad, especially the fact he's given a lot of actionable tips that you guys can start implementing today. Join me in this roller coaster journey that will leave you inspired. Enjoy. Welcome to a very special episode. My name is Ryan. Today we're joined by the CEO and founder of Canada Prime Marketing. He's also the founder of FAHAD Research International, none other than FAHAD Khan.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to the show, man.
My pleasure.
So let's get right into it. So a lot of people watching, what would be a brief introduction of who FAHAD Khan is for the people who don't know you, kind of like your background, your story, how FAHAD Khan became FAHAD Khan today?
So, in a summary, let's say the journey began when I came to Canada. Let's start from there. I was at the age of 14. And right after that, did my high school. During the high school, I was very blessed to be working in some good job. We got into marketing position where we were selling products, direct sales in the mall. So that's where I started my career. And right after the high school, studied at the post-secondary at NAIT, doing business, marketing. At the same time, kept on doing sales and marketing jobs, which was my passion. And right after graduation, one of the goals was I have to start my own business and something related to marketing. That was something which I was passionate about. And then I think the timings were perfect. At the age of 23, started this business, Canada Prime Marketing, and now it's been 10 years of a beautiful journey. That's just a summary how the company started, but I'm sure there will be so much more questions you're going to ask me about the roadblocks and all of that.
Oh man. And
there's a lot of stories in between, a lot of challenges for sure.
I'm sure they cannot wait to dive into the details. Sure. So let's backtrack. Let's go back to your beginnings, right? So you grew up, you were born and raised in Pakistan.
Yes.
How was that like growing up? How was your basically your childhood?
So Pakistan, it's a very different culture as when we talk about Canada. You know, when you come here, it is a cultural shock. And even back home, I was born in the big city of Lahore, but spent most of my childhood in smaller cities. That's where my father was working as an engineer. So you're in a small colony, but it was all the amenities, everything was taken care of. It was pretty good place to be in. But overall, education, everything is good. Culture was different. When I arrive here, everything is so much different.
Oh,
you know, the way you drive, the way you walk, the people talk, and even English. I had pretty decent English. I taught in Pakistan. We always studied in English, but when you're communicating, the accent, most people very early here, they're like, excuse me, what? You know, they couldn't understand because I have a habit of talking really fast and people wouldn't understand. So yeah, but again, going back, it was good. I think we were blessed to have everything what we needed.
Essentials, right?
Essentials, and when you're here, then you just see another level. What else could be the possibility?
Right. So you wouldn't say that you guys were struggling back home. You guys were financially okay.
Struggle? There were struggles. There always struggles.
Yes, of course.
Again, we never felt it the way family and parents took care of it. Because even being in a small town, leaving their own parents and everything, going and moving around, there is always a struggle.
Oh, for sure.
But they made sure the kids, they have everything what they can get.
That's right.
So that's where we were very lucky. Because even if you go back home, you know, when you look at people, recently I've been so many times back in Pakistan, people don't even have food.
Yeah.
You know, we are talking about water. At least we're so blessed to have clean water here. There is water, but people, when they drink that water, they die.
Yeah.
There are thousands of people dying by drinking water because it's a dirty water.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think if we have a glass of water and we can eat, we're so lucky and blessed.
So lucky. Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I say, you know, looking, maybe I don't see our struggles and pain as a pain anymore, but when you see other people, what they have to go through,
Right.
the tough reality of life, and I think we were very lucky and blessed in summary.
Wow, that's really good that you were able to share both perspectives, for, both in the first world and also in the third world. I think that really contributed to part of your success here. Can you tell us a bit about coming to Canada and like why you guys came to Canada? What was the vision?
So my father, when you talk to him, and mother, we had everything back home. Father worked hard. He had a pretty good job as an engineer. The reason they wanted to be here was so at least the kids, I'm the youngest brother, I have two older brothers, they can have better future. There's better in sense of where at least there's transparency in the system, and they have that platform, and whatever they want to do after that, it's their life. Because if the car is given to you, house is given to you by the company, and all the amenities were taken care of after all the struggles they had to go through when they were in a good position, they did not have to leave that. They came here just so we can have better future.
Exactly.
And you asked me, like, how was it when I arrived here? First thing is, high school was a challenge. It was a challenge because the way education system works here is so much different as compared to back. And I always say back home, Pakistan, I don't call it as a third world country. I think it's an emerging country, because the reason is, you know, why put anything down? Because what I see the potential is, it's insane. Because now people, the way they are rising and everything, it's going to be one of the economic hub in the future. So as that country, as an emerging country, taught us so many things when you come here, what we could be grateful for.
Exactly. Now, would you say that you're really like a business-minded person, or did you think that cultivated throughout your life and you kind of had a light switch go off and you say, hey, I need to start doing something? Or was that really just ingrained in your life when you were born into?
It's good since you asked me that did I always wanted to be in business?
Yeah.
As of being a psychology now, understanding how people read and how we are engraved with the blueprints of our mind, when I look back now, you know, when I was 16, my mother always said one thing: I want one of my kids to be a business person, have his own business.
Wow.
Fortunately, my both brothers were super smart, so they became an engineer.
Okay.
And I hated that.
Okay.
I always wanted to be in marketing. So got into business. I think it's what happened was, it was subconsciously planted in the mind.
Right.
And between our family, my dad is an engineer, everybody's an engineer. My mother was more into sales and marketing. And when I look back, I resemble her a lot more, her personality, the way I talk, move, everything, most of my personality is same as her. So maybe when she always kept on saying certain things,
Right.
subconsciously it came to my mind. When you're doing marketing jobs, everything, what happens is, then you're like, okay, you know what, business.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. And before I even get into marketing, there was one of the other projects. I was passionate about photography. I was doing photography and at the same time, you know, trying to get some contracts for the business. Fortunately, certain timings were just perfect. Then when you get that contract, that business thing in, you say, you know what, leave everything. This is the path.
This is the one.
This is the path you
Wow.
need to be on. Then you get on it and then you run with it.
Wow. So let's dive into that, because you mentioned that one moment that really you saw it and you said, let's go at it. A lot of people, when they are presented with that option, they're not sure if that's the thing for them, and they kind of half-ass it. So like, how did you know that was the one for you? And tell us a little bit about what you mean by you went full straight at it.
So before you even go, let's go a little bit back.
Okay.
We all have certain challenge and pain. Unless we have enough pain of something, we don't change. Either we are getting enough pleasure or enough pain. If we see one or the other, that's the only time we're going to change or transform. When I look back, why did I do what I did? At that time, when I was a student and working for other marketing companies, promoting their product and services, fortunately I was pretty good, being the top rep, consistently making good money. One of the projects I was working, it is at K-Days, so Klondike Days, then they changed it, Capital X. K-Days, we were scheduled to work 10 days, 5-hour shifts, selling product, not going to name it, but we were promoting this product and services. My commission, based on what was sold, we set a record actually. In 10 days, I was supposed to make $11,000. And I'm talking right now, 12 or 13 years back. Wow. So that's a lot of money. That's equal to 15,000 today probably in Canadian, right? Yeah. So that's what my commission was supposed to be. Guess what? Paycheck comes, I look at the paycheck, it was $960. I go to the person who was one of the managers, and I said, brother, what the hell, right? I look at it, I'm like, what happened? He goes, oh, 95% of the applications you submitted, the product you sold, they were not the right services. I said, dude, you were standing with me, you looked at every single thing, when we knew they all are real. So what happened was, later we figured out, all those sales was transferred to somebody else, and it was himself. So he made a lot of money off me. At that time, I have no idea where to go. The biggest thing was, that day I realized I'm done with this, because that was not the first time it happened. Most of the companies I worked, the transparency wasn't there. Right. Yes, today we have technology on iPad, we can track every sales we do. Even at that time, they say, oh, you did this many sales, but there was no proof when we submit. Right. So a lot of people were facing the same thing, and my problem was, if I work hard, if you promise me certain, just pay me. Yeah. If we don't get paid, I leave. I'm going to go to the next opportunity, because one thing was, over the 3, 4, 5 years, I was very well trained and excited. When I get excited, this is what I want to sell or promote, we'll get the results. Right. So when you see, biggest thing motivator at that time for me was definitely money. So when you don't see the paycheck what it's supposed to be, of course you're like, okay, I'm done with this. So that was the turning point. That was the biggest paycheck I lost at the age of 22 or 21. And that day I decided I'm done with this. So when I moved away, I was finishing my school, the university, and right after I finished, I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. That's when we went for Canada Prime Marketing, started the business. Right before that, like I said, I was involved in photography too. We were negotiating a lot of contracts. My early contracts were pretty much selling vacations, vacation packages, going to the businesses like a car dealership. You might know about this. Hey, buy this car and you get a free trip to Vegas or Mexico, right? Yeah. So I was one of those guys who would package those deals together, go to a dealership. Hey, dealership, do you want to buy this for XYZ dollars? They buy for, let's say, $100, but the value to the customer would be worth $1,500, right? So we would do that. But that wasn't really lucrative. I lost money, but that gave me some foundation. And at the same time, we were negotiating contracts with some of the very major companies. And I think the timings were perfect when we partnered with one of the biggest telecommunication company, which was a Fortune 500 company. And after that, when you look back, yes, challenges were there, but the life was never the same. Because now, when I look back to the same problem, where somebody technically screwed you over, that was actually the blessing. What happened? The reason is, if that would have never happened, I would have been comfortable and maybe never got enough pissed off, enough pain that I need to change now. And that's when that change happened. I think it was a blessing. When I look back, I say, you know what? Thanks, buddy. So yeah.
That's very powerful. So you really did mention, pleasure and pain. Mostly people don't change until there's enough pain that they've experienced for them to move forward. So that's what you encountered.
So they change. The transformation we talk about, usually I talk about this in the workshop. Either there's enough pain. Second, if they change, they gain enough pleasure. That's when somebody will change. And there's only moment of entry, like opening is for a few minutes. If we don't take action, what happens is we go back to the same. We get complacent again. We're like, it's okay. Then eventually we become, it's okay. No, it's not okay anymore. It's not okay. Then you get to the point. Not a moment, not a day. I am done. When that happens, if we don't take action, guess what happens? We go back to the same thing. So usually it's a 30-40 minute workshop when we talk about how to identify and how to change that. So that's where, when I look back, I didn't know about it, but I think that pain is so painful because I was looking to buy a car at that time. I was excited. I'm like, I'm gonna get this paycheck. I'm gonna go put up the money and get this car I wanted.
Yeah, and you worked hard for it. It's not it's not like it was just one close. You worked hard to accumulate the money. There's something very special about you. Is that
because you mentioned right after that, you said, screw it, I'm going to start my own business, Canada Prime Marketing. Now, here's proof that you are actually really gung-ho and just like you want to get at it, is that your company was actually mentioned as one of the fastest growing companies 3 years in a row.
Yes.
So that's crazy because you're just some guy who came from a different country, you came to Canada, you started a business, and now it's become the fastest growing. What do you think was the differentiator between you and other people who've been here, who had businesses and hasn't even, had that status before?
What is the difference between a person, let's say like me, who can make it happen and not happen?
Yeah.
I think the number one thing was hunger.
Hunger.
If we are hungry enough in life, we will find the way.
Mm-hmm.
You will see today especially, there's so many young people, everybody's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Social entrepreneur, this entrepreneur, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Why somebody quit within 30 days, 90 days?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they're driven by only money.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the easy money to be made?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to specialize in a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, if at that time I knew sales was my skill. Selling was something which I was doing at the age of 16. Selling financial products, you have to be 18-year-old. I managed to carve my way into it. And people said at that time, your English sucks, you will never make money and people will not listen to you. Actually, that was my weapon to sell. I would talk so fast in an accent, everybody like walking in a mall say, excuse me? When they stop in a mall, they say, excuse me, I win the battle because now they're going to listen to me.
Right.
So people say, it's my problem. But problems, you can turn it around and use it as an asset.
Wow.
So coming back to why some people make it. First, for me, I can say it's, and thousands of people I've talked to when we are doing events and coaching. Number one thing is real hunger. They want it, but they don't want it enough.
Enough, right.
And other thing is definitely focus. So use an example, I've used this a few times. There were two very successful people. We all know these names.
Okay.
Bill Gates
Okay.
and Warren Buffett. Both are billionaires. One guy made the most money through investment. Other guy built the biggest empires ever. So, two interviews were happening. They never knew about their interviews. And the interviewer asked the same question from both of them. One key element which somebody needs to be successful, what would that be?
Okay.
They never heard each other interviews. Different places happened.
Right.
And guess what they both said? The same thing.
Same exact thing.
Focus.
Wow.
When we get focus enough. So when I started this business, the focus was this. Nothing else. It is a must. It's what? It's not a should.
Yeah.
I should be rich. I should get this business. I should. We
No
say the
hope.
should songs
Yeah.
never finishes.
Yeah.
The must. I must, because I did not have any option at that time. And even when we were securing this contract,
Right.
one of my closing statement, so they are a very big company, we're sitting and the director, one of the senior managers says, Fahad, there's 7, 8 other companies who want the same contract. They all are established, they all are experienced. You are the only one. We know you have done this before, but you don't have a company experience. Why should we give it to you? Before I left, I said, you know what? It's a must for me. I do not have a backup plan right now.
Exactly.
If I have an opportunity, it doesn't matter if it's 14 hours or 16 hours. I'm working.
Good day.
And you have seen me on the other projects, the way I worked, and I will. And that was the differentiating factor. You asked me, other question was, why somebody coming from Pakistan and makes it happen? It doesn't matter where we come from. The thing is, not being any discrimination. If you see, when people have seen the extreme poverty and they've seen the pain, actually they will appreciate more what they can get here, because this country we are at, we're so blessed.
Yeah.
We have everything. If we cannot make it in Canada, good luck to you being anywhere else, man. We have so many opportunities. We talk about, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. We have everything.
We have everything. Yeah.
But all we need is that endless hunger. And rather than focusing on where I can make quick money, leave that. Where I can master myself at skill set, where I can add more value than anybody else. Grow there. Constant growth at that specific, whatever we are passionate about.
Right.
Then go deliver to the market. When you add more value, you're going to win from your competitor. And that's what we had to do. And that's why getting a contract could be a luck. But keeping it for 10 years and still growing and maintaining and expanding, that's where the skill comes.
Exactly. Wow.
Because even talking to a president of that company, we were said, hey, can you write me a quick testimonial for our website? We've been partner for 10 years. And her word was, you know, they've been, I'm not going to be word, but what very in summary it was, you know, they're a great partner, constantly growing for the last 10 years. And us as a company, we have so many different options, but we choose Canada Prime Marketing to be partner because to what they bring to the table.
Wow.
And saying that from president of a Fortune 500 company, that's you know, I almost cried when I read that. I'm like, wow, you know, that's the respect they have given us, because that when we look back, that means we have added that much value to them.
Right. Wow. So basically, once you got the ball rolling, how, I know you mentioned a lot about pain, pleasure, you're very focused into your business. What kept you to keep going? Was it still, did you still have the same mindset as before when you were very hungry, you're young, you're trying to get on the come up? Was it the same? Because I know when people get to a point where they're getting the ball rolling, they kind of relax, right? They kind of get complacent.
I have a story with that too. It does happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
So when we started, first 3-4 years, you put your head down, 15 hours a day, doesn't matter. Our initial contract was go sell door to door. That was our first major contract. Take this product, go knock on doors in Alberta, in Edmonton, knock, knock, do you want to buy this service? Nope, knock, knock, next door. It happened. First, this used to be my schedule. 8 in the morning, go to the office, drop off the sales to the client, listen to the client, what is happening, put on the ads, go to the office. And our first office was actually inside one of the big furniture store. My uncle and aunt, I'm so grateful for them. They gave me a space. You see this office, we had a little small square, I don't even know, 50 square feet or whatever. You can fit 2 people and 1 small IKEA table in it. This was our office pretty much with the distance we have. And started from there. But then interviewing, bringing people in to a furniture store to work in a marketing company, imagine. And then train them, take them out, show them how to sell, do their sales, then do my own sales because I have to make more money, didn't have much margin, and then check every single paper. If there's a mistake, we need to fix it. By the time we drop everybody home, every day it would be 10:30, 11.
Wow.
I don't know how many hours that is, 12 to 16 hours a day, every day for 3 years. No vacations, no time off, 6-7 days, boom, 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 but that's the price we have to pay. But do we get complacent? Yes, we do. It happened, and that costed me a lot of money too. I'll share that. Remind me to share that story. I'll share that story once we go more in the journey. But coming to, you asked me earlier, the fastest growing company. So how did that vision happen? When I was working for other marketing companies, one of the organization where I was their manager, actually, we became the fastest growing company for that organization. And their city of Edmonton, which was managed by us, was the #1 city, right? So when they became the fastest growing company, we were one of the biggest contributor. I went back and said, whenever I start my business, I'm going to make sure our company get in the same listing as a fastest growing company. The only thing was it took us first 5-6 years to get to that point. Then we get to that point. That's the fastest growing company.
Wow, so you kind of said that. You made sure that you said, hey, I'm going to make that happen, and you did.
It's a goal. So one thing is, right now we are sitting on 31st December, so we're all going to be talking about New Year resolutions. I personally hate that. Because when we set the New Year resolutions, it's once a year you have to go back and go and check. The goals, your goals needs to be updated not only monthly, because if I do check myself monthly, I will have a bad month. If I check yearly, I have a bad year. I don't want to have a bad year, man. I'll kill myself if I have a bad year, because that's going to be a crappy standards. If you check monthly, you have bad month. What about weekly?
Weekly. So you check
why not have goals daily? What tasks are we going to get it done? What are our accomplishments? Because I'd rather have a bad day than a bad year. What happens is most of us going to get excited today by midnight. Hey, what's your New Year resolution? What's yours? Half 50% people are going to say, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to start going to gym. I'm going to start eating healthy. You check on February, the gyms are empty. From December till February, gyms are packed. Right after mid-February, gyms are empty. Nobody shows up for workout, and that's where they make money because that's our habits, right?
I think that's an actual statistic, right?
Rather, yeah, these are statistics. I have good friends who own gyms, so I always ask them, right? I ask them.
Wow, okay.
And they say, man, this is our biggest selling is September, October. We sell the hell out of the memberships, and by December we're so busy. January everybody is excited. February you start seeing everybody quitting, and plus we get summer people start going out. But how many friends do you know? You ask them, hey buddy, when are you gonna go to gym? They say, oh, I'm coming Monday. I have a friend, 6.5 years. That Monday haven't came yet.
That Monday never came. Wow.
Whenever we talk, Monday. I'm like, dude, when is that Monday gonna come?
Which
right?
Monday? 2025, right? Wow.
So that's where, right?
So wow, so that's really interesting. So basically, you check yourself every day, right?
You have to.
So you
weekly. I would say, certain things you check daily because there's certain habits which are daily. But business goals and those goals are weekly, very important. Monthly,
like
where we need to be.
Overview weekly.
Absolutely.
Goals.
I say even for New Year, it's good to reflect back how was the year. There's nothing wrong to recheck your vision, realign it. But let's not just have 31st December or 1st January to set only a milestone. Hey, how my New Year gonna be? I hate that New Year thing is people get excited because how many people follow through? How many people? I know personally in very close network of people, they don't follow through.
They don't follow through.
And that's where the difference between people who make it and people who will never make it. I never say, let's not say never, unless they change, then they will.
Right. Well, it's not that they won't make it, but maybe they're, kind of slow in that process, right? So, wow, that's really...
We all have our learning. Another thing we were talking about earlier, like what was the contribute towards success? One thing I would talk about would be I was very lucky when I was 21. I got involved in certain network marketing where they taught me a very important principle in life, which was personal development. You have to invest into yourself. One of my mentors always said, the person I am today is not the same person who will be successful tomorrow. Word by word, still a good friend of mine, we still talk, he's very successful, but he taught me that power, that most important thing, invest into yourself. I think the best, we are always talking about education. There's a difference between schooling and education, and I can put my money into it. Next 5 to 10 years, our traditional schooling system, which we are talking university, is going to change so much. Because even for business, yes, I have a good respect to where I studied. There are fine college where I studied. But the thing is, most of the things I learned there, I didn't apply. I applied the things which were some percentage of it. Most of the things in a business, I learned from other entrepreneurs, other successful people, other people who have walked on that fire. Because if I want to be a fire walker, I want to learn how to walk on a fire from a fire walker.
Exactly.
Not from not from somebody who have never no idea, right?
Exactly.
And that's what the business is about. You need to learn from people who have done it before. Follow them, get mentorship from them, model them, see what they are doing, what are their habits, what are the key ingredients they have, and then start applying to our life.
Wow. So I want to zoom in on that as well, because a lot of people, they know about personal development, they know about getting a mentor and all that stuff. How, maybe they're asking themselves, they're like, how was this guy able to perhaps get that mentor? Can you share with us?
So this is very interesting, since we are talking, you're very young too, so let's talk about technology. When I was your age, we did not have that much technology. That makes me a little bit ancient. Right? So we did not have smartphones. We did not have access to, internet was there, but YouTube didn't existed. So right now we talk about mentors. Everybody think a mentorship can only happen when we are sitting front. A mentor doesn't have to be there with you all the time, physically. Go on YouTube. People are posting incredible content. But
for free.
One thing I would say, don't just, you will see a lot of people out there, hey, I'll teach you how to make money. There will be a guy standing next to a Lamborghini. This is common. This guy standing next to a Lamborghini, very successful marketeer. He never made money initially, then he did. Always next to a Lamborghini talking, hey guys, I'm going to show you this, this, this. If that's your Lamborghini, sit in it and make a video inside. Most people, you will see, especially the young entrepreneurs, they're trying to teach you how to make money, but they have not made money. Audit a little bit who they are, what path have they walked, what have they done, because but success is not only materialistic, but unfortunately with millennials, I'm a millennial too. The problem with us is we look at a nice car or a nice house or a boat or a fancy thing. We attach he or she must be successful. Could be possibility they are in a huge debt.
Right.
So if we're talking mentor, if you want to follow whoever, at least do some research. Don't just buy blindly, because what's happening on YouTube, I'm a marketeer myself, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, every second thing is a clickbait.
Yeah.
You look into it, hey, make $1,000 today, get rich faster. If you want to get rich faster, that doesn't exist. It does not. People say, you want to buy a lottery? Go for it. Somebody very smart person said, hey, you want to win a lottery? I have a secret to it. And you know what he said? For 60 years, don't buy a single lottery and put that money on a side and put it into an investment account. Probably you will win a lottery with a 10% interest rate.
Yeah.
And they showed me some math. You do the math, man. It's actually, that will be a lot of money. Even if you're buying a, let's say, $25 or $50 lottery a month. That's what a lot of people spend.
Yeah.
But if you put that $50 a month at the age of, from the 18 till the age of next 40 years, and it goes on compound interest,
That's way better.
it's going to be a lot of money, and you're guaranteed to win that.
Yeah, rather than trying to hope for
Hope.
getting the hope. Right?
Hope.
Yeah.
And I say, you know,
Let's speak about that word hope, because I know in our last meeting there's this one person that he was hoping for his idea to work. Was hope ever, not like in your vocabulary, but like, was hope ever like a driving force for you? Did you ever like, I wish this would work?
So one word, I say screw hope.
Yeah.
I don't, because the thing is, hope is a very good seller. If you can sell hope, you can make a lot of money. That's true. Pharmaceutical companies are actually selling you hope to get better.
Right.
Market beauty products, hope.
A lot of hope.
You're gonna look better. Hope is a very good seller.
Oh.
But when you want to do good in life,
Yeah.
it's not hope. It's need absolute certainty. It's certainty. I know I will. I must make it happen. Look, if I walk into this, oh, I hope my business idea works. That's a New Year resolution kind of a thing. I hope, I'm hoping I'm going to be getting a good job.
Right.
With that, no. I know I will get a good job.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to make this
There's
business.
no other way.
The thing is, that's where the chances are you will get there. But with that physiology body, I hope I'm going to make it. I don't know. That's not going to guarantee you the success. But with the certainty, at least you are some closer success chances that you will get to that point. Or whoever is watching, biggest thing is don't have that like a hope, wishy-washy hope, hope my idea works. I try this, it will work. It doesn't exist. There's a lot of people who will outperform you. Right now, talking about social media marketing and anything, there are people. I spend $1, they cannot spend $1 million on it, on a same thing. How are you going to compete? Not by a hope, by adding more value than the person who's putting $1 million. That's the only thing.
So let's talk about really into the business and how you got that going. Canada Prime Marketing. It seems like this was the foundation of who FAHAD Khan really became FAHAD Khan, and now you're doing lots of other things with media and doing speaking. Can you dive into the humble beginnings of Canada Prime Marketing? I know you mentioned you landed that big contract, but can you speak about how you were able to get that momentum to even get that going?
You kept on saying one thing, how FAHAD Khan, referring to me.
Okay.
One thing I would always say is, whoever we are or I am today, it takes a team to become to who we are. Yes, we need to step up as a leader, but at the end of the day, the team we built, we had nothing without our team members. So a lot of this credit for company goes to the team which we have built, who have worked so hard to make the vision into reality. Now, what kind of, let's say, obstacles? Whenever we are starting business early, the biggest challenge is cash flow, money. And we have to be so damn good with that money initially. Because at that time, I said, we had that little office. Buying an IKEA table, which is a small table, $199. I don't know how they still sell the same table for $199. It's been 10 years. But that little table, when I had to buy that, I had to think 10 times. Now, if you're buying something for even $2,000, we don't think twice. We're like, okay, 10, 20,000, because we have grown. But at that time, that was everything. I remember one of the biggest things was I was driving Nissan Altima 2003. That was my first car I owned from my money. And what happened, I got into an accident. It was a third-party insurance. The bumper, the front bumper, and a hood got damaged. So literally, it came off.
Right.
I had to use the tie knots, the rope. I don't know, I have a picture of that somewhere. I have to find that picture.
Yeah.
I would tie that with a rope, and still I can see almost the engine and the whole cooling system of the car. And I'm driving that on the road. I would use the same car to take my team to the field to sell first few months in the business, because the question I had at that time was, should I take another $1,500 to go fix my car, or do I need to pay my team first?
Exactly.
Or put it in the business? So that ugly, hideous car, that was the words used by my auntie who owned the furniture store, was parked right in front. Every single day. She's like, you need to park that car on the other side. My customers are getting affected. This ugly car, get rid of it or fix it, right? But rather than, using that car as an excuse, I use it as a motivation. Every day I would look at it. I say, you know what? I'm going to change this piece of crap.
Right.
I'm going to get a better new car.
Right.
And that was the motivation. If I fix it, I'll be complacent to drive that for another 2 years, and then to buy a better car. For me at that time, I knew I need to make more money. I need to get business to the next level. That was small goals, other than the big goals where we want, little small goals, which were a little bit more of a, let's say, materialistic goals, or small trip to somewhere. But what happened was, actually I used that as a motivation. I ended up buying a brand new car. That was my first brand new car. It was Altima. Not Ultima. So Ultima was the first one. Right. Infinity. Infinity. And after 4 years, got rid of that car. And cars after cars. Then I love cars, man. I like cars, driving. So then you start setting goals. But those are one thing I realized. Even buying the last sports car I have, that doesn't give you that much joy. Initially it does. But that is not which makes you really happy, because after 2 months, it's a car. Again,
it's just a piece of metal after.
It's a piece of metal. What gives us most joy is, I think, whenever we build this company to the next level, where teams are being built. I think, without BS, I think the most exciting trip, or I've been around the world, one of the more exciting trips are when you take your team members. We were in August 2019, we took 19 people from our company from Alberta and BC to Mexico. Seeing that joy on their face, and most of them were international students, new immigrants, and everybody was under the age of 25 probably, when they did not have that opportunity with their own money, but they qualified with their performance and hard work. Living in a 5-star resort with everything included, from a restaurant or whatever they need. Seeing that joy, that gave more happiness than driving that car most of the time. So things does change over time. Maybe it comes with the age or whatever it is, but coming back to a few things I was talking, people get so attracted to nice car or something. We need to start looking at things, who we want to follow, who we want to look, who is the person, study them, then find them as a mentor online, or go approach them. If they're in the same city. I always say at networking opportunities, I was in Pakistan and I was talking to students. We were at one of the biggest entrepreneurship conference. They were literally 150 CEOs of people who were around the world, mainly Pakistanis, and who are coming back to the country to contribute. And they were like a Dragon's Den, Shark Tank kind of a version, where people were coming with startup ideas. We were judging and investing. I had to keep on telling people, rather than going and taking a selfie or taking a business card, go connect with them. Ask them, I want to learn from you. Go up to the face and say, I want to learn from you. What is it going to take me to learn from you? The person goes, I don't know, maybe add me on Facebook. Great, what's your Facebook? Message me on Instagram, or here's my cell phone, whatever it is. You got the result. So, because if you don't ask, you will never get. The last thing I say is, even on social media, my Instagram gets spammed. Last thing I want a message is, if I hate somebody want to learn from me and they don't come the right approach. They ask me, hi, hey, how are you? There's literally, 50 messages. Sometimes I'll reply back, but usually it should be, hey Fahad, I met you here, I've seen you, I've this, you're doing great, I want to learn from you, this what, to the point. Actually, I reached out to one of the very important, successful entrepreneurs. I reached out to them and I write them a message. And I know what the chance of my social media message getting through is very little. Because if I have 100,000 followers and I'm getting 50 to 60 new messages a day. Somebody who has 1.5 million, how many they would be getting, and do they really have a team to go and check those messages? Go, no.
Right.
Even if you get a chance, be to the point, ask for mentorship, and that is the only time. You will, in life, we don't get anything unless we ask for it. If we settle for average, we get average. If we ask for excellence and more, we can get more.
Right.
Okay, so I wanted to zoom in more about what you mentioned about cash flow, because I want to speak to the entrepreneurs who are, maybe they're getting some momentum, right? They're getting some sales, they're getting some clients, but it's really interesting how you held off buying a new vehicle, but instead put that money back into your team, which is what everyone should do.
That's one of the things, like vehicle. There's so many things we can talk. Those are the accessories, even in the business. So you're talking about cash flow. First thing we need to realize, or maybe a question entrepreneur needs to ask, whatever that thing they need, is it a need or is it a want? The day we realize the difference between need and want, that's where the cash flow can start getting better and better. You know, that's very important when we are talking about cash flow for young entrepreneurs. So the biggest thing, the question as an entrepreneur, we need to start asking ourselves, and with our team, if we have it, is whatever we are trying to buy, is it a service, whatever it is it a need or is it a want? You know, if it's a very important need, then maybe we need to invest. And if, let's say I'm going to put $100, what is this $100 going to generate me? If I put the same $100 in X project, is it going to generate me more or is it going to be here? So even in my business, when we started, there was a lot of other projects which were coming in the same door-to-door industry. And at that time, I knew my asset is sales reps. So if I put my one sales rep in X project and my other sales rep in Y project, if from the X project is my main one, if that generates me, let's say $10,000 revenue, and this generates me $4,000 revenue, and I have a 50% margin here and only 2% margin, of why should I put my money here? So when we start getting smarter, we need to start asking this question constantly, because questions are the answers. Because the problem is we ask ourselves a lot of, I say, not a very quality questions. If we ask more quality questions, the better answers we're going to get. Doesn't matter if it's money, business, our emotional state, whichever that is. So that's one tip I can say, is it need or want? And second thing would be is cut down on all the expenses, extra, the things we don't need. Many times we think we need these things, but we don't. Until we start building. To give you an idea, when I built this business, in the first 9 years, take a guess, how much money did we have to borrow? How much were we in debt? Take a guess.
0.
We never borrowed money. Because one thing, a lot of people, they say use other people's money. There's a lot of different strategies. Yes, you can scale the company. But at that time, my philosophy was straight. If we can't afford it, we're not going to buy it right now. If we can afford it, we're going to buy it for the money with the cash flow we have. The reason 90% businesses go out of money is because of cash flow. And cash flow is different than profits. You cannot spend profits. You can only spend cash flow. This is the problem on a statement. We say, oh, I had $1 million profit in a company. Then they go and ask an accountant, hey, accountant, where's the money? Dude, there's no money technically. That $1 million is not there, because profit you cannot spend. Cash flow is only what we can spend. So that's where people go out of multi-billion-dollar companies. Enron was one of them. If somebody want to go study the case study, go look it up. Why did they went out of money? Because
overspent, right?
How did they go bankrupt? Because of cash flow problems. Every company which go out of bankruptcy is because they get into wrong cash flow habits. So why not develop the right habits when we are small and built on the right foundation?
Wow. Okay. So your advice to the entrepreneurs who are getting the ball rolling is basically ask yourself the question: is it a need or is it a want? Because again, I see a lot of entrepreneurs, like they get their first paycheck, they get their first sales, but then they spend it on, let's say, another MacBook when they already had one.
They don't need one MacBook.
Yeah. So in their mind, they'd be asking, do I need this? They sometimes
buy
they
a used one.
Yeah, exactly, right? So really, so your advice would be, ask yourself, is it really a need or is it really a want?
Absolutely. Spending habits is going to make a huge difference. Now, I do spend on a lot of money on things which we don't really need, but again, we have that cash flow. You built to that point, right? But again, we have certain people in our business. Actually, he's a very important individual in our company. He's the president now. He comes and his job is cut one of the main role is
That's his job.
cut the expense. Because he knows I'm going to spend. Even for me as a CEO, many times the backlash comes, we cannot spend on this. Nope. And actually that's good, because that's the balance we need. Because I have certain habits, because I'm a little bit of aggressive when it comes to certain things. I'm like, let's go invest. They're like, no, let's look back and take a look. And many times they are right, and many times I could be, because it's not about right, who's wrong. It's not the egos. It's about what is going to get us the best return on investment. What is better for me,
for everyone,
for the company, for the people. And again, coming to cash flow, if they want to spend that money, one of the best advice I will say, we were talking earlier about mentor. Find the right mentor. Take that money, invest into themselves, learning from those mentors and people who have done it before. Because we spend thousands of dollars in post-secondary education. If we take the same money and start getting certain courses and teach ourselves, or go to some workshops, seminars, whatever, however they learn, or audiobooks or books, that investment will actually pay them a lot more. They don't need a new MacBook, trust me. There's enough MacBooks in the market you can buy for a lot lower price, and they will still get the job done. Today, their time, those entrepreneur times, are not worth $200 an hour. If they had to, if they are saying, oh, my time is worth $200 an hour, then they wouldn't be thinking twice to buy a MacBook. They would get it like this.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So.
Wow, that's a good tip. So let's shift the topic. Now let's talk about. So we spoke about your beginnings in your company. Now Canada Prime Marketing, maybe perhaps they want to know how you guys operate and what exactly it is that you guys do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Operate. That's a lot of nuts and bolts. I would say one of the most important thing which we keep, a couple things which we will say is, it's the culture, what you're going to build. It's the values you're going to put into your company. Who we really are. What are we not going to tolerate? Because one thing is, we get whatever we tolerate. If we're going to tolerate certain behavior, we're going to keep on getting. So certain examples in one of our offices, for example, in previous history, the culture was not the way we want it to be. And many times, then the conversation goes to the manager. We say, just a reminder, buddy, this is not acceptable. If you're going to tolerate, you're going to get it. And and I'm not going to tolerate that. Because culture is what defines. People go to work because of the company culture. So perks and benefits is what keeps them there. But that's not the reason they come to work for. And maybe thinking, why we built a garden here? Why do we have this? Because that reflects to certain culture we were creating. People don't understand that. But we want to make sure people enjoy, relax, and feel good about where they are. Because we don't have the easiest job. A lot of our sales teams are selling out at -20 or -30. I have done that. I've done worst day I worked was -48. It's not easy. But at the same time, they need to feel appreciated. So values are very important in the company. Who you are, what you're going to do, what are we about, what are we not going to tolerate. And then it's the vision. Where do we need to be? What is our big picture? Where we want to take this ship, this machine to, and why we need to get there. That's the most important.
So now on this journey, can you tell us a little bit about the pitfalls, the failures that you guys had to overcome, all of that stuff? Because I know that alone is worth a whole interview in itself. But just so that these guys know that, because they see that you came to Canada, you built this company, it became the fastest growing, but of course there was some hardships through that.
Okay, so I was talking to my team member, and I always use an example or a story. Then the story I shared with them is, very early in our business, we had a challenge, we made a mistake, our team messed up, and we are sitting with a meeting in a client, and client is like, your team messed up this. Of course, if they're pushing me, I go on defensive mode. I'm like, no, we were this, and we're cutting the corners, trying to defend ourselves, putting those barriers, and not really accepting our mistake. Then what happens? I go out. There was another person in that company who always treated me. That individual was from the client side. Always treated me like a brother. And she goes, Fahad, you're like a little brother to me. I know exactly what happened, and you know that you messed up. My best advice to you is, if I was you, you need to go. I know you are on you're taking a break, but before even this break ends, you need to get back in that room and go admit that you guys messed up. And there's nothing wrong. You guys did, and apologize and step up. Take that ownership. And I'm like shaking. I'm like, no, what if we lose the contract and this? And I go back and I'm like, you know what? Okay, done. I go back, didn't think twice. Inside I say, you know what? we apologize. Our team did mess up. This was the mistake. This is what happened. And we will ensure nothing like this will ever happen again. It never did after that kind of mistake. And right after, you know what they said? The client goes, he said, you were 5 minutes away from being fired if you would have came in and said this.
Wow.
What if I would have walked in after 5 minutes and tried to still defend? The key is failures. There was a failure. Our team failed on something. The biggest thing is taking ownership, admitting sometime, and say, you know what, I'm sorry that I messed up. Because in life will give us chances. We get chances, and we will get it if it's meant to be. So that was one. But other failures, one of the major failure or challenges, roadblock, one of the recent ones I'll talk about, for example, we're building this business, you know, the empire is going up. Again, one of our big projects we were working on, to give you an idea, that project was about $2.6 million revenue a year, and we had a 40% markup. So we were clearing about $1 million. And that project was paying all the other expenses. We're like, yeah, we talked earlier about complacent. Yes, we became complacent, $1 million extra. That's, we hit a jackpot, chilling, traveling, and not really growing the business to the level, but the focus is more, you know, sit back a little bit, relax. And that was actually a mistake.
That was a mistake.
But what happened is, at that time, in our old office, a client walks in, and the project where we were making all this money, he goes and says, he said, Fahad, I'm not going to take a lot of your time. All I have to say is the project you're working on, we have to remove you from the project. That project is discontinued and you're no longer on it. One of the other business executive I had, he goes back, no, Mr. Client, we were doing this, we were so good. And I just hold his hand. I said, just shut up for now. And when the client is about to leave, he says, Fahad, I'm very surprised, you know, because he used a couple times the same word. You know, it's a very tough bullet for you to bite. Because as a small business, you know, losing that big of a revenue and profit, he knew we had a problem. And he said, that's a tough bullet. And I did not give a reaction. I'm sitting very calm, staying, and I hold his hand. I think, today is not our day. And he asked, you're not giving me any reaction. You don't look very frustrated. I said, the decision has been made. Today is not my day. Tomorrow, I will fight. So we lost that project. Everybody thought we had done. A lot of that was in 2016, late 2016. Everybody thought we had done, and many people who were working on that project, we tried to reaccommodate them into different positions, but of course some we couldn't. So a lot of people left. The people who believed they could stay with us, who were with us, actually they jumped off the boat. We thought they were like brothers and this. But they were getting paid pretty well, and they quit on us. We said that's when we realized, okay, who is with us and who is not. But I think that was the biggest problem at that time. But what if the problems are the greatest gifts? And I think that problem, challenge in the business was the biggest blessing, because what that taught me was that I need to wake up, need to refocus on the business, because we became complacent. And at that time, many people who we believed were part of the company, because we had to close certain projects, so we had to readjust certain people in our team. So we asked them to reposition into certain positions. Some we couldn't, so some left. But certain people we believed they were the core members who are going to do so well with us, they actually jumped off the boat. And that day we realized who are with us and who is not. And then, like I said, the questions are the answers. The better questions we started asking, what am I passionate about? What kind of business are we in? What kind of business do we really need to be in? What else do we enjoy? And the question was, are we really a marketing company? I knew the real business we are in is in training and also into recruitment. So we're hiring, we're training people who go and sell. So I said, what if we want to be more of a training business? Then we started going out. I said, you know, I enjoy personal development. What if we can give this gift to other people so they can be successful? So we looked into, first trainer was Tom Hopkins, that was my first sales trainer. Then John Maxwell, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, and all different, Robin Sharma, different programs. We started looking, who can we partner with? At that time, actually, we picked Brian Tracy and went out. The reason is because he would license out his courses and everything, and we became partner with him and became more of a training company. But what that happened was that problem actually led to something much better. That wake me up. We started diversifying. And actually that led me to some of the first live events with Tony Robbins. We'll talk, that's a whole other topic. But that changed the whole life. If this thing wouldn't have happened, that punch on the nose the client came and who's come and gave you a jab, he said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do something more about it. I focused on the main business, then expanded on the other side. So actually we stepped up. we started making more money, even losing the biggest project.
Right.
We had more clarity in the business. We knew who is with us, who is not. And actually, that was the time when we refocused back on our goal. 2017, we became the fastest growing company in Canada,
Wow.
despite one of the biggest problems we had. Then people said, okay, sure, you had some profits were coming from the previous year rolling, so great. 2018, again, we became the
Again.
fastest growing company.
Oh.
People said, you know what, still we had some problems. We lost some of the very key people we had to let go of. And then 2019, we became again the fastest growing company 3 times in a row, not only even by Profit 500, but also Globe and Mail, they put us in the fastest growing, top growing companies too. So that punch,
That's
if that
really
wouldn't have
interesting.
happened,
Yeah.
we'll be like, enjoying our life, but we wouldn't be feeling more growth.
Right.
We would be just plateau. And what happens is, one thing I learned in life, I think this could be one of the best lessons from young entrepreneur. Whenever you're about to reach your one major milestone, your goal, make sure before you hit it, you have another one after that. Because what happened, you just hit it, you're like, boom, I've
What's
achieved
next?
it. Is that it?
Right.
Then what happened, we start living that complacent and plateau.
Right.
But what if you have another one after that, more compelling goal which pulls us to where we don't have to
So
push
you're on
only,
the next
it is
level.
pulling you.
Yeah.
And that's where we keep on growing, that hunger, that growth, gotta keep on working on that. So that's where everything changed. And we gotta continue looking at what we really
That's
need.
really interesting how you take failures and a punch in the face. You lost 2.6
$2.6 million revenue
2.6
with a 40% margin.
margin.
That was a clean margin. Actually, that was actually paying all the other things. Since we talk about that punch, so client, he's one of the very senior position in the company. This summer, we had a dinner again, and me and him sitting, we're talking, and he's looking at me. We started talking. I said, Fahad, do you remember a couple of years ago when I came?
Yeah.
And I didn't use that terminology, punch on the nose.
Yeah.
Actually, he used that. That's where I got it from. I'm
really?
stealing his words. He
Okay.
said, Fahad, I punched you in your nose on that day because I knew it's going to hurt, it's going to bleed, and you did. But at that time, many people in our organization, they said, while we're getting rid of some other partners, little partners, let's get rid of Canada Prime too. And his verbatim words were, at that time, I said, no, these people have great values. He used the word values, which we used earlier. They are good people, at least, because they have that family kind of thing. They are not crook. That's
Right.
what he was trying to refer to.
Right.
He said, I did not believe in Canada Prime at that day, but I believed into you. That you will step up despite that punch,
Right.
that you will come and deliver. He said 2019 was actually our best ever year
Wow.
in the marketing with that client. And that's where that punch, and actually that day I wasn't even expecting that. I literally almost cried. I'm like, you know what, coming from him means a lot, because that's where we have worked, and he's a very senior person, and I see him also sometimes as a mentor too, because I get to learn a lot from him. Many times that he says the things. But the thing is, in business, there will be some punches
Right.
you will get, you will bleed.
Right.
It will hurt. But the game is who has more grit, who has that resilience
Right.
to step up.
Wow.
Muhammad Ali got punched many times, man. He doesn't become a legend without taking millions of punches on his face.
Oh man, and I want to zoom in on that, because even going back when you were starting up, you were selling at the K-Days, right? You got robbed, what was it, 10,000, 15,000 at that time. That felt like $1 million at that time,
Absolutely.
right? So you lost a lot. They only paid you 900. They took a lot of your money from that. Now moving forward, you also lost at 2.6. Now, for the people watching, how are they able to? Because I think that it's just instilled in you that you are a fighter. You like you said, you are unstoppable. You just keep moving forward. But for the people who are having trouble trying to find that spirit in them, what is your advice to them? What do you think they should do to be able to take a loss, but grow from that and grow, take
I should
that as a
do an
win?
infomercial. Come to my workshop. That's where we can talk. No, actually, honestly, one of the things which we say, always, I'm talking this in a workshop, learn from some of the greatest trainers. I talk about Tony Robbins. So one of the things, everything in life is meaning. What meaning we give to things. So if you look back, I said something, what if our greatest problem was the gifts?
Right.
What is it? Am I done, or is it the new beginning? If we start asking new questions and whatever
questions, right.
meaning we attach, So let's say in a business I lost money or somebody stole money from you.
Right.
What meaning you going to give to it? Do you
Right.
think nobody stole money from me? Right after this, we had another problem, one of the recent problems. One of the person I trusted the most in my business, like a brother to me for 8 years, took a lot of money from the business.
Wow.
What happens? The meaning, am I going to give, oh my God, I'm a victim. I'm going to go
There's
tell
two
everybody
ways,
I
right?
lost money, poor me, poor me. Because
yeah.
in today's society, if we play the victim,
victim
card, no
card.
matter in business or life, oh, poor me, everybody comes and give you sympathy. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm so sorry this happened. You are not that weak because sympathy is for weak. We don't need sympathy in a business. Oh, you know what, a lot of people are showing us sympathy, but inside they're like, I knew he's not gonna make it.
Right.
Because the thing is, I don't need sympathy. We need to get smarter. The meaning you can attach. How many times we go through a problem and a question could be somebody asks, is the God punishing me, or is it God testing me?
Right.
Same scenario,
Right.
two different meanings.
different meanings.
If somebody gonna give meaning, I'm being punished, you're gonna live a victim. If somebody, maybe it's testing, you're gonna rise and become a warrior and fight. So when you ask me, like, you are the fighter, get up, because every time I'm gonna give a better meaning. I ask myself, what other empowering meaning can I give to this situation? Learn from it.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes.
Right.
Learn from it. What other empowering meaning can it mean? What else can it mean? What else can it mean? But it's not gonna happen sitting, what else can it mean?
Right.
Oh my God. No, it's gonna, what else can it mean? Like, you know, and that's where the life changes.
Wow. Wow.
Things will happen. Problems will happen. Only one type of people don't have a problem in life, and they're at the graveyard. True.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, I was in Pakistan, there's a guy comes and asks, sir, you know, asked anybody, we were going through intervention, and he says, oh, I have a problem, this. I said, why do we have problems? He asked me a question. I said, you know, it's simple. When you don't have a problem, then you can ask, why don't we have a problems?
Yeah.
You have a problem right now, it's a good. It's actually good when we have problems, because that's the only time when we solve it.
Right.
It makes us stronger, it helps us expand, grow. And when we grow more, we can, you know, celebrate, experience, and then eventually we all can give more
Wow.
to your team, to people who don't have anything, and that's where the fun of life comes.
Wow. Wow. So you speak about meaning a lot. You speak about, you know, asking yourself these important questions. Now, we spoke about your failures, your struggles. What were some of the successes that you've seen? I know you close a lot of big contracts. What are like the leading up to that? What are the and how does that look like when you
Success?
guys close that? Yeah. How does that look like for
You know,
for these guys?
I was few months back.
Okay.
We look back, we say, what are things you're proud of?
Right. Right.
I've shared this a couple times actually. You know, we became fastest growing company. At that time it felt, you know, you make it great. Then it doesn't excite that much. You know, you got a trophy, you keep some of those hardwares, you put it on a wall. I was in Pakistan actually in 2018,
Okay.
January. I'm sitting, and people say, what is the proudest moment? I'm sitting there, and my father, he took me to some of his old friends, because we wanted to do some motivational trainings, corporate training. Since we partnered with Brian Tracy, we wanted to introduce that. Now, all these uncles, I say, they were his colleagues. So when I was little, 2, 3, 4 years, they raised me, right? I played with them, and their kids were my age, and they all are sharing their experiences. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? What have you been, all these, and I'm the only kid technically listening.
Right.
So everybody's sharing their experiences, what they've done. A couple people started their own businesses. Some of their people, they're working, some of their kids are working in their
Right.
parents' company, and they're all sharing. And then my dad shared some stories, everything. One of my uncle out of that, during everybody was sitting, he took me on the side. He says, you know what? You're so lucky. I said, why? He said, we all were sharing experiences. But you know what happened? Your father actually felt so proud. After he retired, he's working in your company. And he feels, actually my dad is working in our company now. We work together in this business. I think it's a blessing, so we are very close together. But I never realized, had that feeling, you know, it's like, oh yeah, it's business, whatever. But that, when he came and shared that, you know, he's so proud when he's working there. I think that is more fulfilling than going and becoming a fastest growing company. That's what makes our soul more happy. That, you know what, you have to own, like your dad feels proud to be part of it.
Yeah.
Usually back home, what happens is parents have businesses, and when the son graduates, they join it and become a chairman or president.
Yeah.
but it
this
went
one is
and that's where they said,
the
you
other
know,
way.
we have not seen this, and that's where I
Wow,
realized, you know,
wow.
maybe this is the real success.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why maybe you were built, whatever we believe in, God, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
brought you to a position where you all can work together.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think that was more fulfilling and success. I think
that's
that's one of
way
the more
more-
bigger success than
Oh,
fastest
yeah.
growing company, I feel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So-
Wow, and that's really personal too. Wow.
Absolutely.
So Fahad, what is next for you? What is next for FAHAD Khan? What are you guys working on in the background? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, what is I'm working on?
Yes.
Let's leave the Canada Prime on the side. That business is
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
I was talking about mentors and things earlier, how Tony Robbins and everything changed life. I'll share a quick story. I was in Australia with Tony,
Okay.
and he asked a very important question in life. When I ask life is, what is the first gut response you get? You know, we were doing some through meditation. What's the first answer? Write it down. And everybody has their own answers. My answer at that time was life is, for me, I wrote it, it's a gift.
Okay.
Then later he asked another question. What is life about? What are we going to be known for? What is our purpose? How should our life be? And we did some meditation. I was feeling really good in that giving mode, in that very nice. And then I wrote, giving is a lifestyle. That day, actually, I wrote my mission life statement. We write our business statements, but we never write a mission life statement.
yeah.
And I wrote, life is a gift and giving is our lifestyle. Actually, that one line which I wrote changed the whole trajectory. That led me to Pakistan, where I shared my dad's story. Then, now, actually, one of my mission in life is to inspire millions of youth. Mainly, I'm focused more in Pakistan. That's the home. Also in Canada, or wherever the opportunity opens up, I will be there if I can. What if we can give one person a new meaning in life? One young entrepreneur, one person who doesn't have enough money, one person who want to do better for their family. If they can go find purpose and a higher meaning to go achieve more, experience more, you know, and then they can give more.
Yeah.
That's where the life change. So for me, my next thing, I was there for 7 weeks in Pakistan. And what I was focusing on was how can I empower these youth? Because they will be a powerhouse. Because I said they're an emerging country. They have one of the best youth talent available. About 65% of their population is under the age of 35.
Wow.
So there's a
More
huge
than half.
percentage.
Yeah.
So much outsourcing, programming, social media, everything. We can find people there, and as long as somebody mentor and coach them. So for me, the next big thing is take this mission. Life is a gift, giving is a lifestyle. That is under FAHAD Khan Research International, doing the live events where we are talking, immersing into how we can change ourselves. How do we become unstoppable? And that's where we named the whole event, I Am Unstoppable. What is I Am Unstoppable? It's a belief. It's who we can identify ourselves with. That if we put our mind, our energy, our focus, our hunger towards, that nothing can stop us. There will be roadblocks, but that doesn't mean we stop. That means we can break through it, and we can become stronger. And then when we become stronger, we are unstoppable.
Wow.
So
So-
that is what I'm after now. And people always say, oh, what about this, that? I say, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to fill a freaking damn stadium there.
Yeah.
Next time when we are there, we will be actually getting very close. That was our 5-year plan. Probably we're going to get there in 2.5 years, and twice faster than what we projected. And that's what we're after. We're going to keep on inspiring people, no matter where it is. Either it's online, offline, face-to-face, events, whatever it is. I think that is more fulfilling than anything else.
That's awesome. I want to zoom in on your quote, I am unstoppable, because I think that's what really shaped you to who you are today. When did you come up with that? How did you come up with this
line?
Yeah, this line.
Actually, at my event, we do incantation streaming.
Okay.
We're singing very loud with full
Right,
intensity.
right.
I'm a leader. I'm unstoppable. I am filled with courage. Where did I'm unstoppable come from? Actually, I had to go back and think. I play a small video clip every time.
Okay.
And this video clip, there's a little girl. She goes, I am a Wonder Woman. I am unstoppable. I am maniac. Actually, when I asked her, I said, Eliza, what are you? She goes, I am Wonder Woman, because we associate ourselves to superheroes, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it would be, let's say, Iron Man, Batman, whatever. Like, oh, Wonder Woman. Then I asked, what else are you? I am brave. I'm like, okay, what else are you? I think she said, I'm a minion. I'm like, no. Then I changed the minion to maniac. And then I said, what else are you? She's like, I don't know where she heard this word. I unstoppable. Actually, the first time, maybe that word came from my daughter. She said, okay, I'm like, okay, you're going to say it loud. 30 minutes in Stanley Park in Vancouver, she's standing, screaming, I am a Wonder Woman. I am strong. I am brave. I am unstoppable. And actually, that unstoppable, she puts the most energy. I took that clips. I play for 30 seconds. I challenge people, can you outdo her energy? And I'm unstoppable actually goes back to my daughter. That's where it came from.
Wow.
Because she said it, then now it became a whole brand. Actually in Pakistan, I'm unstoppable is technically, it's a brand, and we're going to be launching something so incredible in the next 6 months that people will see. So the credit goes to her, because we don't think about it, but sometimes we learn from people we don't even expect.
Wow.
And usually we can learn so much from kids.
And she would have never said that if you didn't drill her again and again. You kept asking the right question, right? What are you? She said one thing. You said, what are you? So I think... And
programming. I'm programming her systematically so she becomes stronger. And, you know, because what happened was very early as a childhood, there's a science, it says till the age of 7, we can absorb everything what we are learning. Then we develop this operating system, then we program on it. We are programmed, then we run on it. So my goal is to, by the age of 7, program her pretty good. So at least she's not in a fear, because what happened is, I know she's been through some accidents in life, where car accident and few others, where she become a little bit like this, you know, or get scared. So how do you reprogram them so they become more stronger? So it's a work in progress constantly. So that's why I keep on saying, what are you? Now, you know, when she saw that on a big screen, now she gets sometimes a little bit shy. I'm like, are you unstoppable? She's like, nope, daddy's unstoppable. I'm like, are you? She's like, She doesn't, I'm like, if I put you on a stage, are you going to say I'm unstoppable? I'm like, okay, next time when we go to the event, maybe we will.
That's awesome. So yeah, I see that recurring theme. It's like, you know, ask yourself the right questions and the right answers will come up. This has came up throughout our whole interview, right? So I think that's a really good golden nugget that these viewers can get from themselves. Ask themselves the right question. You know, in terms of cash flow, in terms of
everything.
Everything.
I think it's not from me. This is probably, I don't know, so many people I've learned from. If I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was actually emphasized by Steve Jobs. He's the one who always, in his company, when I was studying, asking the questions, quality questions. And as we know how, when he was part of Apple, how he took from nothing to so big, the person with real vision. So yeah, another thing I would say, since you're talking about it, keep investing into yourself. Most of the things I'm talking, I didn't create this, man. I learned from people, from experiences, learn from somebody who have done it before. There's a lot of wise people. We are not starving for knowledge these days. Knowledge is everywhere. What we are starving for is wisdom. That's what we need to go find, wisdom. Because the knowledge is everywhere. 99% of the knowledge ever existed on this planet, you can Google it.
Right.
You'll find it, probably free or paid. So that wisdom, that's what we need to find. And look for people who has that. That's what we are lacking.
Right. Okay. So then what would be like your closing advice for these entrepreneurs who are trying to find the mentor who's going to resonate with their story? Because I know you mentioned we're lucky now because there's YouTube. You can find all sorts of free information everywhere. But what's easy to do is also easy not to do. So what is like your I guess your tip for them in finding the right mentor for them? Because for you didn't have internet and anything like that, but you still went out and find your mentor who were able to teach you.
Easy thing, take a budget. Whatever you have, it's $3,000 a year, 10,000, whatever the money you can afford. Put that on the side. That's for my personal development. First thing. To give you an idea, to be a platinum partner with Tony Robbins and others, it's very expensive. We're talking literally $250,000. $250,000 if you go all out, from learning to travel to everything. That doesn't include your time. That's only include the physical expense. Not everybody can afford that. But if you can get to the point, sure, do it. I spent that money not only just to learn, but actually the biggest thing seller was for me was proximity. Who I'm going to surround myself with. Because if somebody else who can afford that kind of money and who's paying there, they must have done something great. And even in that group, I would consider myself financially bottom 10%. But when you have a person in that group who's a billionaire, literally a billionaire, not a fake one on a
Yeah.
social media who's trying to be.
Yeah.
The person who is running a company with, let's say, $600 million revenue. There's another gentleman, $50 million revenue a year. These people have done over and over again, and they're doubling their businesses every second, third year. So learning from them. I find people who I resonate, who has their ethics, certain things.
Their ethics.
Same values.
Same
That's what I
values,
go
right.
after,
Right.
values. Because many times there are people, even when I'm traveling in Pakistan at the places, they are successful financially, but if they don't have the same values, I don't spend too much
doesn't
time.
matter.
I say, you know what?
Doesn't
Nothing wrong with them. Their values
Yeah.
are theirs. Their
Yeah.
beliefs are theirs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go change them.
Yeah.
Like, continue. If that satisfies your soul, you need to answer to your soul. I need to answer to mine. What helps my soul and spirit to grow? That's what I'm after.
I love that.
And other thing I would say is at the end, closing things. Mentors we just talked about.
Yeah.
The problem is, number one, with most people, they think if I teach my knowledge, if I share my idea, somebody else going to run with it. Somebody else will do this.
Yeah.
They are living the life of a scarcity.
Right.
There is
Right.
enough out there for everybody.
everyone. Yeah.
There is enough.
Yeah.
And if one thing is, a lot of people said you give, you get back. You know, I had that belief engraved into me. Then I changed that. I said, you know, you give because you freaking wanted to give without any expectation to
No
receive.
strings. Yeah.
Because if I set an expectation to receive, that's the only way I'm going to set myself for disappointment.
Exactly.
And when I'm just giving because I wanted to,
Then
if it
there's-
comes back, great.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's
That's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm still happy.
Yeah.
That's what kills the joy of life as an entrepreneur. That expectations. Oh, I'm going to do this. You have to do. If you want to do, if you think you're doing the right thing, go and do it. Even I was in Pakistan, I've done certain things. I spent an insane amount of money on certain events. People come and ask, Fahad, what is the advantage to you? Why are you doing this? Why is the benefit? I'm like, you know what? It just makes my soul happy.
Right. Yeah, I know.
They're like, you're crazy.
You mentioned that you even lose money on these events.
Mostly,
When you-
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's my way of giving.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Wow.
Life is a gift.
Wow.
Giving is our lifestyle. It's not only the money. It's not only going and helping the person who cannot eat the food. Like I said, for me, the best giving I can give is that knowledge, that experience. So these people can go create more. Once they get to the same point, I always teach one thing in my event. Giving is your lifestyle. Giving is lifestyle. Giving. Because the more givers we get in this planet, more people will have, you know, they're going to be creating more for everybody. And like I said, there is enough for everybody, man. It's not going to end.
Wow. Wow.
There is enough money, there is enough wealth, there is enough food if we create, or whatever there is. We just need to find the right resources to do that.
Wow, and that's crazy. That's ironic because I mean, people who are born and raised here, they think a lot of scarcity. But you, coming from, a country that's coming up, you barely had, like you mentioned, enough clean water. But still, you came here with a mindset of abundance.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, there is enough.
Yeah.
We have enough blessings. We have everything. One last thing I would say is Tony Blair, one of the UK ex-Prime Minister, he said very important thing in a small room we were sitting. He said, wake up in the morning with a sense of purpose.
Right.
Go to bed with a count of blessings.
Wow.
And we have enough blessings in our life.
Wow. No. Okay, so talking about that, can you tell us a little bit about what your routine now looks like at your position now? What your morning, your afternoon? What is your?
Ooh, what kind of things I do?
Yeah.
Rituals? They're
Yeah.
crazy ones, man.
Oh,
The people say, the crazy people are the ones who change the world.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about all of them. Yeah.
Summer,
Okay.
I drive, like I said, I love sports car, and my
Yes.
sports car roof is open driving, and I talk about incantation. I am a leader, I'm unstoppable, I'm filled with courage, this is my life, this is my time, and I always find the way to victory. With my whole team, like when we are out at the events, we are streaming this with intensity, with energy, why? Because we want to engrave this belief into us that I'm a leader, this. So that's one of my incantation.
Okay.
Even if I'm not doing it loud, in my head it is happening.
Yes, sir.
I'm a leader, I am unstoppable, I am unstoppable. It's a reminder to my mind, I am in charge, not you. This soul, this heart controls this.
Yeah.
So it's going to give me reasons, no, you know what, you are this. I'm like, nope, shut up. I close my mind, take it to the where we need to. Other is, I would say you have to get into the power of your heart. Being grateful for things what we have. When I talk about gratitude, it's the meditation. It's not the traditional meditation. It's just, thinking of a moment we could be grateful for. From yesterday, from past memory, from something from a month, year, 2 years, or from anywhere from the lifetime. Just focusing on that.
Okay.
And in my mind, reliving the same moment. Usually it's 3 grateful moments.
Right.
Then I feel the energy, the light coming in, you know, it's cleaning me, it's making me stronger, whichever is the strongest part of me, like love, courage, determination, passion, whatever I'm asking for at that moment makes me stronger, make me feel. And whatever that energy or that strength is, then whoever I know or don't know, send it to them. They feel great. And then the last one is I look at the goals, what I need, like a small outcomes or a big outcome. For example, I talk about filling up a stadium in Pakistan with, you know, an event where people are getting inspired. That event I have seen in my head already. It has been done.
Right.
Then I just not only visualize manifestation, not only look at it, consider it, it's been done. That living, that feeling, that celebration, that it's happening as right now, not 10 years from now. Now you feel it, and then you start getting energized towards it.
Wow.
That's some of the small things which I do. Other things would be, one of the crazy ones.
Yeah.
This I actually,
we want to hear all of them.
Somebody said, "Oh, thank you for the shower tips." So it's been a year and a half. I've not actually missed out on it.
Okay.
So morning shower whenever we're taking, and normal water, you know, take bath, everything. At the end,
Put it to cold.
ice cold.
Ice cold.
Whatever the coldest I can.
I love that.
And you do it. Why? People, you know, first it's actually good for you. You know, ice cold water, it shocks your whole body, gets your nervous system up. I'm starting hitting my chest, the shower straight. Usually it should be a cold tub. I don't have a ice cold tub. So maybe outside in winter, I'm going to create one, just dive into it. You know, my mentor, Tony Robbins, he does that. And a lot of,
wow.
and there's been science proven, you know, ice cold water, it's really good for you. Commandos, Navy SEAL trainers, and all those, you know, tactical forces, they use that to get the body strong. So ice cold water, and every time you try to do that, you know, your mind will say, "Hey Fahad, not today. Don't do it." Or you will try to do it. People will say, "Do I really have to do it today? I'm feeling cold today." No, the answer is this is because the mind gives us reason not to do things. And I always say, you know, I'm in charge, not the mind. The second I get the thought, boom, done.
Wow.
That's how I train my mind first thing in the morning. Who is in charge? Who is the boss? It's me, not you. Wow. Because if mine will say, "Oh, what if this happens? What if it makes you sick? Is it really cold? Is it going to do this?" It's going to give us reasons.
Right.
So, boom, done. We stand, let it, boom. So these are just some of the few ones. Other ones, they come and go, keep on adding, but these are the major ones. They are non-negotiable.
Wow, I love that. I love those rituals. Okay. Yeah.
So maybe you're going to take ice cold water bath?
I already do, actually.
By the way, you're welcome for the showering tips.
Oh, yes, you're welcome.
That's what somebody said to me.
No, I love the fact that you actually gave us practical advice, stuff that these guys can actually take action on. You mentioned a lot about, you know, asking yourself, right, all these things. So that's really good that you added all these. So
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Fahad, thank you so much for being on the show today. We're very excited to be able to you know, edit this and you know, combine everything, show it to the audience. So
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having us in your beautiful office. It's looking crazy in the background, but yeah, hopefully we get to do this sit down again.
Awesome. It's been a blessing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, and see you sometime soon. And live blessed.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this special interview with FAHAD Khan. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, hit that bell so you guys know when the new video is coming out, and I'll see you guys soon.